And here we are, Audio Mullet, back again. Excited to share that Mike is not here again. And we got some great feedback on the last episode. Nobody likes him. People are excited to not have Mike. And people want the Ethan and Doug show, apparently.
Yeah. Show your support by liking the episode or doing the 20 stars or whatever you guys do.
Yeah, get on iTunes, leave us a review, say, wow, so much better without Mike.
Thank God Mike's gone. If we see that will be really funny for us to grind in Mike's face. It would be really funny to see all the just be real reasonable and sober about it. Go like the show it strangely improved and got funnier without Mike. It'd be great.
Well, okay, so for this episode,
wait, who are you?
I'm supposed to introduce myself and you. Mm-hmm. I'm Ethan Nicole, and this is Audio Mullet, and I'm the co-creator of Axe Cop, and I work at the Babylon Bee. I do a lot of photoshops over there and writing in the podcast. Who are you, Doug?
I'm Doug. I work at the Babylon Bee, and I do all the work for Ethan that he takes credit for. No, I'm the creator of Earthworm Jim, a video game character, landfill character. And so I make cartoons and comic books and video games and stuff. And
this is a side note, but have you seen the movie Bodied?
No, what's that?
So, okay, this is a total side note, but there's an Earthworm Jim reference in it. And it's actually an amazing movie, but it's super profane because it's about freestyle rap.
Oh, is that the one with that's the one with Eminem in it, right? He's
not in it, but he produced it.
Oh, okay.
But it is about this white dorky kid who's fascinated by the freestyle culture, and he ends up becoming this amazing freestyle rapper. But he has this total social justice girlfriend, and he's kind of caught in the college social justice woke culture. And freestyle rapping is super unwoke. I mean, they're super racist, and they do make all these jokes. So it's about that. It's very funny. But don't watch it with the kids around. But yeah, there's one moment. Yeah, he goes, "You Earthworm Jim looking mother effer."
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought of you because I watched it last night.
I penetrated culture.
Pretty genius movie.
I penetrated culture. He didn't say "you Axe Cop, mother effer."
Right.
He said Earthworm Jim. You remember that, child?
I remember. Uh-oh, I think my family's home.
Okay.
I might be able to move to another room, but I'm probably gonna have to. I'm gonna have to figure this out.
All right, just keep going, and we'll roll with the
All right,
noise.
We'll keep recording, and then I'll. Yeah, because I got battery power. We just had a little bit of a mix-up. My family showed back up from the park. I went running back to the bedroom. We'll see if I don't get interrupted.
Cowering in a bunker from the zombie apocalypse outside. They're going to come in wanting all kinds of stuff like your brain and love and all this stuff. Psh, kids.
Love. Jeez. Yeah, so should we just get to our topic?
Yeah, get to it.
All right, so in this episode, we did an episode a while back where I get grilled. Doug and Mike grill Ethan, which really it was Doug grills Ethan and Mike makes little comments.
That's right. But, notice how Mike left the show before we got to grill him.
Yeah. He'll be back.
Yeah,
this is a hiatus. He didn't quit. It's a hiatus.
He just chickened out.
I think the first episode that he comes back, we should grill the hell out of him.
Yeah, we will. He's busy working and junk, trying to make money.
Making fun of movies, yeah.
Instead of getting all
I'm supposed to grill you.
Instead of blowing away the world's mind with this podcast.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm supposed to grill you, and I have not prepared for this at all. We just decided we're going to do this.
Yeah, I didn't prepare when I grilled you. I didn't.
Yeah, but that's your personality. You're just your mouth stuff just comes out. Okay, I guess I could start with that.
Yeah.
Do you regret your mouth? Like you just talk like it's like I both respect it and almost envy it, and I also at the same time would fear it.
Yeah.
You almost seem to speak faster than you think. Do you think that's true?
True.
Would you change it if you could?
Yes.
Okay. These are all yes or no questions.
I know. You got to ask questions that are not yes or no.
So why?
Now I'm going to start grilling you on why do you ask such certain questions?
I'm not an interviewer. Okay. Well, let's just get. You are an artist.
Hold on. Let's go back to the mouth. Let me unpack the mouth thing. Okay.
Let's unpack the mouth thing.
The mouth thing.
I figured you would know that you should give a bigger answer than yes or no.
Yeah, it's I'm kind of virtue signaling to myself because I feel like if I just kind of nod and go along with things and cut all the edges off of everything, that I'm telling a lie. So what I say is kind of it is kind of flow of consciousness. And it is going to mean that I'm going to say things that other people only think about. And that's going to damage other people in a way that I don't get damaged by them. But if I knew what they were thinking, I would be so upset. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like I'm letting everyone know where I'm at. So no one ever has to wonder what I think or feel about them or anything else.
Okay.
So I get a lot of people say, like, they're appreciative of me because I'm not just saying rude things. It's if I feel great love for someone or what I respect about them, that just pours out too. Mm-hmm. And, like the beloved Miss Tenaple, I very rarely dislike or have a problem with anything she does. So she normally only hears positive things from me because she's so perfect that just pours out of my head all day. So I'm also not reserved and protecting ground. And I just see it as you know what it reminds me of? It's like on Facebook where everyone posts the perfect pictures of their life, of their children, of their thoughts, and they never show you who they really are.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by it's kind of like a lie. It's like I go to sleep every night knowing everyone knows exactly who I am. And I know who my true friends are and who really loves me and who actually tolerates what's rolling around in my head. And I feel like other people got to think like, if people really knew who I was, they'd probably hate me. I never think that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a hunger for people to be able to just be honest about who they are. And I think that's why you have a following. I think people are fascinated by that. Like we want to be able to just say, this is what I believe, deal with it. And a lot of us are afraid to do that. I mean, I think I'm coming out of my shell a little more on that, but it's terrifying, especially when you work in the arts.
Yeah. By the way, just in the practice that you've done, I don't know where you're getting this from, but just in the practice you've done, you're already sounding so much better as a host and as a showman that I can tell it's coming out, that you're closing up the pauses and you're running it faster. So I'm noticing that.
Oh, thank you.
Coming out of your shell. Very cool.
Well, the first Audio Mullet podcast feed was really kind of the first time I did one where I wasn't being interviewed, and that's a whole different animal, I realized.
Got to be a showman. And if you're going to do independent book publishing like Bears Want to Kill You, you have to become a little more of a showman. Even if you're awkward and uncomfortable with it, you still have to do it. You see it translate to being able to feed your family. Yeah.
So you are an artist.
Yes.
You are in a very liberal space.
Yes.
Do you think that you have given up a large amount of fans that you otherwise would have been able to enjoy if you had not been so political and so outspoken?
Definitely.
Do you think you'd have more or less?
Oh, I would have much more.
I know that to some extent it seems like you have kind of leaned into it, especially through the Comicsgate thing. Yeah. I don't know if people that are listening to this know about that, but there's this thing called Comicsgate. You embraced it.
Yeah.
And you did seem to get a growth of fans through that.
You
probably lost them too.
Yeah, and I lost them all too. Yeah. Because I left Comicsgate, and so easy come, easy go. So a whole bunch of Comicsgate people came in, and then I announced I was out, and then all those Comicsgate people where it's just like their religion, they all left. So it's kind of I would put it as, because Comicsgate I think really is, it's a post-Trump movement. It's right. Trump came out and fought back and said the things that people wouldn't say and was so audacious in doubling down on the fight. And you hear this from a lot of people, even among never Trumping Republicans, that say we probably wouldn't have gotten Kavanaugh without him. Like they probably would have given up on him instead of fighting for him. And so I think there's a modern kind of waking up of the right realizing there is a time and a place to fight, and merely showing manners and being quiet and hoping the status quo will just kind of float us along. We saw too much of the foundations and too much of the status quo just get attacked, ridiculed, demonized, and persecuted,
Yeah.
That now we realize, oh, wow, you really have to make like a strong case and go out and wade in and let them have it. So I see it as I have
I can't even think he's made a strong case for, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's not really his thing.
So I'm only saying that recently, probably within the last, I would say, since Trump, that there have been some people who have found me and come on my side that before they were not. Christians have come and found me. Conservatives have realized they actually want to come in and start putting their money in a way that they were a lagging indicator, though. It took them a long time to find me. So I still think I've lost more audience than I've gained overall. But the audience that I've lost are kind of the bury the needle leftists that used to just kind of enjoy my work so long as I kept my mouth shut. And now they're gone.
Do you think that the number of people that consume entertainment that will ditch that entertainment because of their politics is a pretty small number, or in your experience, or large, or what do you think?
I think it's a growing number as we see it take over the right.
The right and the left?
Right and the left. I think it has traditionally always been in the left, but I think, I shouldn't say always, because I think the moral majority in the 80s had all of the puritanical evangelicals, for which I was one of them, would go like, we have to boycott McDonald's, we have to boycott Target. And
they always had their thing. It was always The Simpsons is evil, Dungeons and Dragons is evil, Harry Potter is evil, and now it's all
Now it's all flipped, because I can go watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and enjoy woke Avengers Endgame more than they can enjoy, say, a Mel Gibson film. So actually, we're broadening what we take in, and they're narrowing it. And recently, though, on the right, it's become more attack the person because of what they said within their art form and things like that. And I'm seeing more of that, which is troubling. But personally, I myself, I'd gain much more in my career in animation, in video games, and in comics if I would definitely have more if I was less outspoken about my beliefs. Because if you think about it, right, whether if you're on the right or on the left, as soon as you talk and tell people, someone on the left may just go, I'm for murdering babies all the way to a day after they're born. Well, a whole bunch of people are going to go like, I like your music, but I don't like it enough to feel good about supporting that. And then as soon as I say, I don't believe in evolution, I think it's stupid. The people that say, you're anti-science and you guys are what's wrong with everyone and you're destroying the environment. It's you people. And now I just can't support your work. And if you're just quiet about it, which really I think is the better way to go as a public creator, is to be less about your personal politics and religion and all that stuff. Because our first job really is to entertain as many people as possible in mass media. And you don't want to start cutting your chunk of your audience out because of certain things. Like, we have a moral obligation to defend Jesus and be outspoken about Jesus, not get called into every stupid argument there is, but just to be public about that. I don't have a moral obligation to say that I think global climate change politics is Marxist and here just to take over industry.
Yeah. So do you, when you look at other artists who are Christians and they are completely silent, do you, whether you're right or not or whatever, just visceral, do you look down on them, or do you have a beef with them because you do choose to live out your faith differently as an artist?
Yeah.
Is there a frustration for you there?
Maybe a tiny one, but overall, no. The tiny one is only that this last week I've heard the Overton window. Have you heard that phrase?
Yeah.
That's the new.
Try to explain it, but that's hard to.
Yeah.
It's what's acceptable. The window says what's acceptable to believe and say and talk about, right?
That's right.
So like pedophilia is outside the Overton window,
Yeah.
right? Like there's no defending it.
Yeah. Give it 2 weeks.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, it'll be, I can't believe you took a stand against. Will you explain these tweets where you said pedophilia, where you said marrying children was wrong? You have to explain yourself, and we have to boycott you because how can you go against the way someone's programmed?
Right. So it's moving. So that's why
Yeah.
you have to defend things back when the Overton window was in a different place and other things are okay to talk about or opinions were okay to get into. Now you can't. So.
I think if Christians and if conservatives were a little more vocal a few years before Trump came along, I think we'd be in much better shape culturally. And so silence starts to look like acceptance when all your friends play it safe or are gentlemen or whatever at all these moments. They never speak up about this. And then they do speak up when, say, this is my favorite. I'm just going off on 1,000 topics, but
yeah.
Like, did you see the video that just came out this week of the girl beating the dog, like smacking the dog around? She was
I saw the tweet about it. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, so she's a YouTube game streamer or whatever, and she's like smacking her dog around, and there's this big expose like, this person needs to be removed from Twitter. We have to take away her business. I'm going, she doesn't treat that dog anywhere near as bad as the unborn black person's treated in New York, where like they stick a scalpel in their head.
Yeah,
so so that's the Overton window that says you will have a conniption over a dog being abused, but human abuse you will only speak out about so much, or unborn abuse, whatever. You know, when I say human, there's a whole lot of people saying like, yeah, but that kid, even though he's been born for one day, he's still not fully human. Those are dumb people. So Overton window wise, that's what bugs me about the Christians. And I know a ton of them in every field, comics, video games, TV, absolute horrifying silence. And, and they even ask me, they come up and go, I just can't be as vocal as you. Can you show me how or whatever? I'm just like, you have no obligation to be vocal. Like just because that's me, because I have, no filter, doesn't mean you have to walk around and do it to this degree. So there is something about them that respects what I do, but at the same time, there's something, I think it's my unique place to do exactly what I do the way I do it. And I'm willing to lose a lot for it. I'm not willing to lose everything for it, but I'm willing to lose a lot for it. And I don't expect that on other people. However, that Overton window thing, I think they really could make it more culturally, socially credible if they could verbalize, say, their faith or their conservative politics and make it a little more normal to talk about in the workplace, in the arts.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hard things is that our culture is framed how you can talk about things, and it feels like as a Christian, we are told by Scripture to tame your tongue, be slow to speak.
That's right.
That's right. All that stuff, and our culture is not that at all. And it feels like you either have to speak, you have to play their game by their rules if you're going to defend your faith. And I think the art that we need to try to figure out is how do we talk about this stuff not within their rules. And I think one of the great ways is podcasting, where we're just putting conversations out there. And it's been proven by the success of podcasts that people like to listen to two people talk. They just like to listen to people talk about stuff that, especially when it's stuff you're not really supposed to talk about.
Yeah.
Because people want to be able to make their own minds up rather than being told, these people are bad. Well, now you can just go listen to them talk on a podcast and decide for yourself if they're bad. I never thought of that
appeal, but that does make a lot of sense because I do enjoy hearing other people talk about deep ideas, often things I don't agree with. And it's kind of a safe place to think about them in your head. That's interesting.
Yeah, I was at a coffee shop a long time ago, and there was two Christian girls sitting there, an atheist, and then this Muslim guy. The atheist and the Christian girls started to argue in a very friendly way about, I think it was just about the belief in God.
Yeah.
I think it may have been about gay marriage or something, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
The Muslim guy cuts in and he starts to get in on it too.
We throw them off a roof. We throw them off a roof.
Well, he was a Muslim going through all this doubt, but anyway, it was fascinating. It was such a fascinating conversation, and it was four complete strangers. And I was just sitting there quietly working on my computer, and I was enraptured.
Yeah.
I just listened for like 2 hours, listened to the whole thing.
That sounds so cool. So that's a podcast.
And that's a podcast. It would be an amazing podcast. But anyway, I'm supposed to be grilling you right now.
Grill me.
Man, I had like a question in my head and it like disappeared.
Fell apart.
So you're loudmouth. How are you so sure? I mean, that's another thing. I feel like our culture, there's a huge pressure to be certain in your beliefs.
Right.
And that pressure comes from, it can come within the church too. I do feel like a lot of people have there's a lot of struggles and doubts within faith.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Christians are afraid to admit it.
Yeah.
There's a pressure to be certain. Yeah. I feel like the pressure to be certain is much bigger in kind of the secular left right now. But
yeah.
So how are you so certain? Or are you as certain as you seem like you are?
I am as certain as I seem I am. I may have my points of doubt, but I mean that's a long story. And by the way, it's funny
like when it comes to like a thing in the.
It's funny how you say
you just have to take the Bible's word for it on a lot of things. How are you so certain?
Not on a lot of things. I'll say on a tiny percentage, but let me get back to that in a minute because I have another comment to say. Because you say there's this pressure to be certain, and I think there's a pressure to be uncertain about everything, where no one can know anything. Like to me, that's more the culture, which is so incoherent. Because on one hand, you have everyone acting like they're so certain on everything, and yet they have this belief that they keep saying, like, you don't know, and no one can know.
Right.
And then let me tell you why we have to outlaw straws.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was thinking about that same thing with because these awful shootings just happened.
Yeah.
And the culture who is always very morally relativistic. All you ever hear, right and wrong, or just a point of view, man.
Yeah.
Moment a shooting happens, these are absolute evil. This is evil through and through. Yeah, suddenly everyone's using black and white morality.
You're speaking my language.
Right. So they can jump in and out.
Sure. So
it's selective.
So how am I so certain? Okay. First of all, I think I am normally certain about what I believe, not outrageously certain. So for instance, take the whole Bible thing.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it as it's a pretty binary thing. Either God made everything or he did not. Either Jesus was a historical figure or he was not. Either he raised from the dead or he did not. So there isn't a lot of gray ground where I never feel comfortable saying, I don't know, I'm sitting in this gray area. Mm-hmm. To me, it's kind of, everything is, this is Aristotle's law of identity, or the law of non-contradiction. So law of identity, A is A. Something is what it is. Law of non-contradiction. It cannot both be and not be at the same time and in the same way. So I have kind of practiced the discipline of having my mind not try and hold on to two completely contradicting ideas as if they both could be true. So,
okay.
So I'm only saying I know that there is one truth. I may not know what that one truth is, but I know it's going to fall into that category, right? It's like I'm holding a pen right now, but it's like I'm either holding a pen or I'm not. And I feel like when someone says, say it is wrong to shoot people in a mass shooting, they're saying, how can you be certain? Is as stupid to ask, how can I be certain that this pen is in my hand? And how can you be so certain that there is a God? Like, to me, it is so obvious that...
Well, those ones are a lot more obvious to me than there's things like there's the things that are just recorded historically in the Bible that you just have to take the word.
Sure.
Even just the death on the cross stuff and anything that's just a historical... There is we know that there's a lot of evidence that the Bible hasn't been changed much.
Okay, but get off the Bible for a second, because the Bible's harder ground to argue. It's easier for me to argue with you about, is there a God?
Well, yeah, I don't have a tough time believing that.
I know you don't. I'd say you're getting pretty binary. You're getting pretty Doug TeNapel about it.
That's an easy one for me to
It's not easy for other people in culture. How can you be so certain?
But I'm grilling you here.
I know, but I'm using it rhetorically to make you answer your own question. It's even better.
Okay. Is it?
I guess.
Right.
Well, your answer will probably be stupid. So yeah, let's go. I mean, to me, the first thing I do is I try to remove my preferences and my emotions. So remove what a stupid, incoherent culture has to say about anything that cannot have much weight because it is so discredited itself, right? Mm-hmm. Owning slaves, you just name it. Doctors recommending cigarettes as smoking is healthy. You can go down the line of the millions of ways we've almost always only been wrong. So I can't look at culture and say just because culture is saying a woman must, in the name of reproductive rights, be able to gouge a human out of her uterus, and that does not equal killing a human being, as if we're mysterious about what happens if you just let it take its natural courses. That just seems incoherent to me. So if I remove my emotions, remove the cultural pressure, and to me, almost everything that disagrees with me tends to be jammed down by culture from peer pressure, not from logic. Mm-hmm. And I'm suspect of that. So I'm trying to think of the kind of things that I disagree with that seem irrational. Yeah. There's very few. That starts making me very binary.
But like the belief in God and even a lot of those values, you can have all those and be a different faith. You could you might be a form of Muslim. You could be a Mormon. You could be all kinds of faiths.
Sure.
It's the details of who your prophets and your saviors and things like that are.
So that's where
people have fought wars over.
Yeah. So to me, it's very easy to dismantle other faiths. It's very hard to dismantle my own. So it's and I'm saying other faiths have shapes that are strange to me. For instance, when the entire faith, say, came through one writer, I go, my faith has, cross-referenced multiple writers that, truth revealed across thousands of years. It feels more stable, I guess. It doesn't push it up into the binary area of I'm 100% certain that my faith is correct and all others are false, but I'm 95% sure.
Okay, that's what I was curious about. I was curious, if you feel like you're at that 100% line on those details.
Well, yeah, I would say I'm not at 100% on some of those, and because that's a tougher area, right? So tougher areas are also things in the Bible say that read weird to me, and not because culture told me they read weird. So things that read weird to me is when Jesus does these bizarre miracles he says, go get a fish. When he has to pay his taxes,
coin in the fish.
They go get a fish and they pull a coin out of his mouth. I'm like, what the F? Come on.
The Chris Angel moment, yeah.
That doesn't even make sense. So that brings more doubt to me than someone saying, God, when a man, forced himself on a woman and made her pregnant, he made her marry him. I go, that can actually make sense because, he had to face the repercussions of what he did. And in that culture, rape didn't mean the same thing and women were property or whatever. And God wasn't using it as an ideal for how everyone in the world should live or whatever. It's easier to carve around those. The coin coming out of a fish's mouth, that, I might go down as low as I'm 75% sure that one goes down. But still,
all right.
Higher percentage than most things. So I'm pretty sure I am very opinionated of things. I'm a very black and white person, but I don't think I do it out of ignorance. And maybe that's what the accusation is not just how can you be so sure, but there is kind of a statement of no one can be that sure of anything. So how can you be so sure?
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like you feign confidence on some things?
Sure.
Okay. I think that's one thing that a lot of people find fascinating about you and people that can do that. And I've also learned being in Hollywood that goes a long way in Hollywood. Yeah, people latch on to fake confidence.
In a pitch? Are you kidding?
Oof. You need to teach classes on that.
Yeah, that's when you go in with about no one ever pitched anything where they were, I'm maybe only 5% convinced of it, and I'm pitching
Yeah,
it like
you
it's
have
90.
to be.
So
That's why I'm terrible at pitching.
yeah, but I really do try to reveal how unconfident I am of things that I don't know. For instance, I'm iffy on violence and capital punishment and war. I'm admittedly 50-50 on that one because I'm unsure in the actual unpacking of the scriptures and looking at the early church, if we were not meant to just endure our suffering and be ground up and let Hitler take over and whatever, and people are still saved or not because God's in it to grab a soul and not give me a job and wealth and health and those things that don't last.
Yeah.
So I'm usually pretty open about the things that I am iffy on. Just no one seems to care about those things.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, so final question for the grilling is what could somebody what evidence could be presented to you that would make you renounce your faith?
Oh man. It's really hard because I also have what the Mormons call the burning in the bosom. There is some kind of internal actual relationship and friendship, or sonship, I should say, with Jesus, where so it's not just a mental academic, I read the scriptures and see them as true. And yes, that's a historical fact. That is mostly what it is. But there's also a sense that as a storyteller, Jesus so perfectly meets man's problem in such an infinite, durable way that is very appealing to me coming from a storytelling standpoint. And then when I see how that story was constructed by 4 eyewitnesses and whatever, and there's weird counterfactuals within the details of the story that they wouldn't write it if they were just trying to construct it so that you'd believe it. It's very strange to me, certain things about that starts to really lend credibility to it. So it's this huge kind of holistic argument that what would it take for me to renounce my faith? It's like, I don't even see how I could have this faith. Or unless the story was real, I just don't think it would even exist. So even to ask your question is what would it take to renounce your faith? Like this faith that everyone has believed all this time, and then suddenly you get this deal killer.
Yeah, like this some kind of evidence, or like
I would
here
doubt.
we can prove that this is a computer simulation that these aliens set up, and this is all a fake story they put in your head.
Now that's dumb, but that is so dumb. That really is like
that would really have to be something like that to me, I think.
I'm holding a pen in my hand, and they go like, "What can I do to convince you that pen is a waffle?" I go, I mean, I guess if I ate it and it tasted like syrup and a waffle, I mean, I don't even know. It's like the whole question of it. And so I don't know what it would take. It would just have to be so incontrovertible that what is far more likely, and to me, what is a far greater danger to the Christian, is not that he might find some proof. It's that we have no courage and we are not true even to the little bit that we've been shown and what we believe. I'm far more skeptical that I'll make it to the end of the race because I'm a scoundrel and a scumbag and probably an illegitimate son of God than I would ever think that some piece of evidence would come up and disqualify me.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of a way of putting yourself on a pedestal to think, if you presented the evidence, then I would, it's like I would have to renounce my faith even though I have such a strong, I'm so evidence bound because I'm so logical. But really, the danger would be for most of us that there'd be something that we would fall in love with, a sin or an evil that we would fall in love with, that we would twist our faith to the point that it was actually meaningless.
Yeah, a million
so
times
that we could
more
engage
likely.
in that thing. Yeah,
a million times
and
more
we
likely.
probably all do that to an extent.
It's far more likely that I have a illegitimate form of faith because I just read the word and it has not changed me to a point that God intended, and that really I'm a rebellious Christian wholly outside of his will, and I'm just plastering his name on my body. That's far more likely.
All right. I feel like that's a pretty good grilling. I think we're time-wise, we're just hitting the point where we should throw into our next section.
Oh, okay. Let me start our next section. Where's my post-it?
Yeah, you do it.
Oh, here it is.
You wrote somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I wrote it down. Look, we're going to talk about stupid things that you've been obsessed with. So this is great. In a distracted world, in a world where, we just kind of hear about starving Ethiopians and shrug. But if someone like moved, one of my kids took, let's say, one of those plastic baseball hats of every professional series, and you've collected them all the way back from 1940 or something, and he moved one of them and took it, you'd go my collection. You just start weeping. Why did you do that? What are stupid things that and I don't collect those because they're that stupid. What are stupid things that you've been obsessed with, Ethan? What are things that you obsess about that are stupid?
I can't think of anything in my adult life as much. I'm sure it exists. I mean, there's definitely TV shows you get it really into, and then you look back and go, man, that was a waste of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Lost.
plenty of Netflix stuff. Yeah. I have spent I have an obsession with playing Tetris.
Yeah. How much?
I'll go through phases.
What are we talking about?
Hours and hours. Yeah. I mean, I'll go through phases where I spend at least a couple hours a day playing it. I haven't I go through I won't for a while, then I'll go back and I really have to beat my score. And I like getting, I feel like a ninja. It makes me feel like a ninja when I can do it super fast. I'm in the really high levels. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got really good at something totally worthless until you have to
exactly.
Until you have to pack for a move. Then that Zen skill comes out. You're just throwing boxes in perfect shapes, stacking them up in the moving van. Your wife's going, honey, where did you look? You're so good. And you're like, I spent
I know, I tried to show my score.
250 hours on Tetris. Yeah, so you know me with Plants vs. Zombies that one time.
Yeah, I introduced you to Plants vs. Zombies.
Yes, you
remember
did.
that. And I remember the next time I came to your house, I couldn't find you. You were sitting out in your car, and you looked like you had been out there for a long time. Your skin was a little bit glossy. Yeah. Your hair was greasy. Your eyes were bloodshot. And you were playing Plants vs. Zombies in your car.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm on level 427 or something like that. You're your teeth are chattering.
Yeah, grinding my teeth, sucking in my cheeks.
You found a new drug.
It was. Video games are a drug, and probably almost all of them are the biggest waste of time.
Yeah.
When you look back on them. There's a few of the multiplayer games where if I play Plants vs. Zombies with my kids or with a best friend and I really get pretty far in a survival level, not Plants vs. Zombies, but Call of Duty Zombies or Call of Duty Survival Mode, where we have those memories. Remember that time? That one, those are good. Playing Command and Conquer when I would just rip on my friends and beat them in this strategy game. But most of the games I've played alone, totally inhuman, antisocial, nothing to show for them but burned calories, and what a wasted effing life. I've spent 6 months on a massive multiplayer role player game called Asheron's Call in I think 2000. I think around the year 2000, 2001, where I'd kind of retired from the Neverhood, and I thought I would just give myself some time, and I started playing this game, and it was 6 months full time. Complete absolute waste of life. So that was stupid.
Yeah, I'm blanking out on anything outside of video games. I know that there's.
What about toy collections? People collect toys, Happy
Meal I was
toys.
pretty young, but I was obsessed with Ninja Turtles. I tried to collect them all.
Yeah, and how many?
I did spend a lot of time, even into earlier adult life, being obsessed with Ninja Turtles. It is pretty stupid when you look back on that.
So you give yourself a pass though because you were a kid obsessed with it, whereas if you were an adult, you give yourself less of a pass if you're obsessed with something as an adult.
Yeah, I don't know. I find that a little bizarre when I meet a guy who has a gigantic toy collection.
Yeah, I agree. There's something wrong with that guy. Or a sports room with every player's jersey on the wall and all the pennants.
Yeah.
And I'm just you're one of those guys. Weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a certain amount of fun in collecting, and I can see how it can get out of hand. But
Like I got the Star Wars trading card app.
okay,
Started probably, I don't know, it was 2014 or 15. And I was like
so
obsessed.
they're not even real cards. It's
No,
an
they're
app?
digital cards.
Oh my gosh, come on.
Dude, it is the dumbest thing ever. And I got so into it that I would buy cards on eBay.
Digital cards.
Digital card for $100 of first series Han Solo. I
Can you
paid
see
the guy on eBay and he sent me the card in the collection. He traded with me. And I got the digital card and it's sitting on my phone.
Oh my god.
I mean,
so weird.
not
I
weird.
don't understand.
Not weird, stupid.
Yeah. I can understand.
And then I go, I'm so obsessed with this thing, I got to get rid of it. So I sold the whole collection on eBay for $350.
Digital cards. And somebody bought a thing that's digital.
Card collection for $350. It's so dumb.
Really, and they're cards. What can you even do with them?
I know you.
Yeah, I did some. I was pretty young, but I collected the Ninja Turtles movie cards in like full, like big binders when I was a kid.
Did they have a
Obsessed with getting
Vanilla
every
Ice
single
card,
one.
or was that the second one? Which one had Vanilla Ice?
Second one had Vanilla Ice.
Did you get
I
a
don't think I did the
Vanilla Ice
second
card?
one. I can't remember if I did or not. I think it was mostly the first movie. Maybe been the second, actually. I can't remember. I was pretty young though, so I'm excused. I was like,
yeah,
12
we're
or
talking.
something.
I think we need to limit this to post 20s.
Yeah, post 20s.
Post 20s obsession, things you've been obsessed with. TV shows. What about music? What about bands? Like when I do a deep dive in a band, if I fall in love with one, I find out all the information about the lead singer, read the lyrics, find out what the band history is. Also stupid, like Cake and They Might Be Giants and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I listen to a lot of. I'm pretty snobby in my music.
So
So
you didn't do a deep dive on Ricky Skaggs, your hero?
he's not my hero. He's one musician I like. But
Did you ever Google his background and find out what he's doing and what he likes?
no, I haven't actually.
Okay, then you didn't obsess with that. You passed
Yeah.
the test. I'm trying to think of what do you obsess about?
I do get into. I do. Well, okay. Here's Well,
You
I
obsessed with
talked about
Thomas
this, so-
Sowell. Thomas Sowell a little bit.
I just read some of his books.
Okay.
YouTube. I have gone on periods where I go into YouTube rabbit holes really, really bad.
So
especially
what's your
watching
favorite rabbit hole?
the ones where I really feel bad, which I've already talked about before, is where I get into this weird thing where I just want to watch car wreck videos.
Oh yeah. No,
messed
everyone
up.
loves the fail video compilation. I've watched
The
a
fail
good-
videos, yeah, all the fail videos. That's where I feel the most empty and soulless, when I just am watching fail video after fail video.
But do you go full evil, like where there are people with broken necks and like dying in car wrecks? Do you do the vicarious gore ones, or do you keep it safe with just the cute ones of people falling on ice? You know,
No,
some of
there'll
those
be-
fail
there'll be
videos
s-
go into
there's
full
some-
death, and I go, ugh.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the curiosity to see things that you don't see.
Yeah.
So like, because actually seeing it, you see the aftermath of a car wreck kind of on the regular when you're out in LA, but to actually see the moment of impact, it's a weird, dark fascination to see these car wrecks. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know why.
But you're looking for fail videos of funny car wrecks, not bodies strewn all over the place.
No, it's YouTube. So if there's a bunch of gore and death, it won't be on there. In theory.
Oh, okay. I've seen some bad ones. And
Yeah,
I
I have stumbled on that kind of stuff before.
Yeah,
online,
but you
and it's
stumble on it.
horrified
I don't
me.
obsess
There's
on that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what I obsess over. I mean, the fail videos, those are great.
Fail videos. Yeah, there's a desire to see people get owned. I really hate that I click on, so and so owns this person in an argument or
Yeah.
whatever, and I always know that they're not gonna. It's just gonna be them talking, and someone's gonna make a point. But
I know, and you're going like,
no one ever
that's-
really gets owned. It's just a stupid title that
Yeah.
draws you in.
That's ownership. That's
Yeah.
ownership.
Like most of the Ben Shapiro owns this or that person.
Yeah, he
It's
goes
just
nice
Ben
straw
Shapiro
man
talking
argument.
to somebody.
Nice
Yeah.
straw man argument. Wow, he owned. Oh, he owned him. Holy moly!
Liberal college student instantly regrets asking Ben Shapiro or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think Ben Shapiro could win any argument because he thinks so fast and talks so fast.
so fast, yeah.
There's no way anyone could keep up with that guy. Not just fast talking, because his content is amazing. He thinks fast.
His mind is fast too. Yeah,
Encyclopedic recall.
I think it's some form of like a Rain Man kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, clearly there's something wrong with the guy. If you're here, and Ben, invite us on your show. Yeah. So don't take this as a compliment. I'm not hating on you, but like there does seem to be some kind of robotic Rain Man thing going on that maybe you're not aware of.
Yeah, because a lot of times these Rain Man type guys, they have issues with social norms and stuff, and he comes off as a little bit weird socially.
Yeah, he's a little awkward,
but he does good with what he's got. I mean, yeah.
No, he's a
kill. We just completely insulted Ben Shapiro. So.
Yeah, no, that's holy, and we can't do that. It's like Ben, Ben, oh.
Maybe he gets fawned over constantly, and it might be nice to hear. Well, he gets hammered by the left, but this is different. Yeah, this is from a place of love.
I do love him.
I think he's great. Almost all the criticisms of him are like, well, they're pretty much all he's a homophobe or he's racist, which isn't an argument, or they're like, oh, he's creepy and weird looking or something, which that makes me want to take their side. That if you're getting after his facial expressions or his looks or that he's awkward or nerdy, it's like, yeah, I was awkward and nerdy my whole life, so yeah, I guess I'm with him.
Yeah, and the people that are yelling at him saying that, they have like, blue hair and they wear cat ears, You're like, okay, let's go make fun of Ben.
Well, is that our episode? What is that? Did we finish? Did we do it?
If there's any, I can't think of anything else. I collect a lot of books I don't read.
I think you block that stuff out. I think I block it out. Like you get through it and you're happy to be done with it.
Yeah, I need to end this episode so I can get back to my collection of 800 severed Barbie doll heads. But yeah, I can't think of anything. I'm upset.
Here, actually, you know what? I'll admit one publicly. This is more of a bad habit, but I got into vaping for a while. I'm super embarrassed to admit it. For like a year. Just this last I haven't done it probably for almost a year now. But I'm getting barged in on. This is there's Calvin.
Calvin.
I did quit. I threw everything away. But,
you did. Was that?
I did it because I just hated myself. Even though I don't know why I actually really liked it. But
I know, but you knew you were.
I hated the culture of it. I thought it was so stupid. Every bottle's so stupid with the stupid artwork and the dumb names. And I finally was like, I'm better than this, and I just threw it away.
Yeah,
one day.
Ethan, that's why we got to get you on.
Get me on the chaw.
Copenhagen pouches.
I smoke way too many cigars now, though, in place of it.
I know, but Copenhagen pouches, you can sit there with one in your mouth right now, and you don't have to go outside to smoke a cigar. No one knows, no one sees.
Yeah.
It's a book. Shut up, kid.
It's a book.
He can't hear me, for all of you guys wondering.
He can't hear you.
And we love Calvin.
All right, Cal. Should I stop this podcast? Yeah. Okay.
He's the boss. Mike is out and Calvin's in.
That's Mr. Doug. You say hi? No?
Hi, Calvin.
You talking to that? He can't hear you, though.
Oh, okay. Hi. He can see me, right?
Bear.
Hey,
you bear voice? No, he's shy now. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Now he's quiet, huh? You see me and he's all quiet.
He's like, wait, there's somebody there, that little book. Book. He likes to help me because all my books people buy from Amazon and stuff. I pack them in my garage.
Oh yeah,
he's obsessed with packing with me. Yeah.
So if you guys buy a book from Ethan, then you're gonna get it packed by a baby.
Well, if you go, he helps me with all the packing. But if you go to my actual store on my website, ethannicole.com or through AxeCop, if you buy it direct from me, there's actually an option on my bear book that says "Packed by Calvin," and it's like $10 off. And Calvin will actually pack it. I make sure the book doesn't get messed up, but the tape job is just a mess. There's bear stamps all over it. I just make sure it's shippable, but it's a mess. But he has a blast. He loves it. He can't believe I'm just handing him the packaging and he gets to do it.
That's a great business. You pay.
All right.
All right, buddy. This has been the Audio Mullet. I'm Doug Tnaple. This is Ethan
Mike.
Nicole.
We miss you, Mike.
And we miss you, Mike. Good riddance. Good riddance, you lousy bum. Don't forget to like this episode. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to smash the 5 stars. Don't forget to...
And share. If you enjoy this podcast, please share it because Really, that we aren't advertising. We aren't doing, it's purely word of mouth.
Yes. If we don't raise at least 20 more subscribers, Ethan and I will get cancer. So thanks a lot.
What? All right. And this has been Audio Mullet. Goodbye, everybody.
Oh.
Audio Mullet. A mullet of audio smashing you in the